Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Woo! Okay, let's see what this bowl has to say, what these tea leaves have to say. And the card that we have picked for this reading tonight is the Three of Wands, which has to do with virtue. Virtue is one of my favorite things to think about. I think that maybe it is my life's work to kind of contemplate, discover what are my personal virtues, what are my original virtues. Not necessarily the things that are prescribed to us, although, some of those definitely do resonate as far as being of service, kindness, loyalty, and so on. I don't know what all of them are. I know that there's being charitable. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I know that there are, there are different sets for every sect, religious sect, basically, but, I think for me, it really usually just boils down to love. That's what I think of. But we'll see as they get older, as they dream more. Maybe I'll find out there are more important things. Who knows? All right, let's see. We have right here a beautiful hummingbird in flight. The hummingbird, I have a special connection to it. My sister, her totem animal is a hummingbird. She's very busy. She's also a solar Virgo like myself. And so when I think of a hummingbird, I think of somebody who is very busy about their business, can multitask, has, just a lot of things going on. They're personable, but they're good at kind of bobbing and weaving in and out of social situations, going from one thing to another. And there's a confidence about what they're doing and knowing. And it's interesting here because I see the hummingbird in flight, so movement, right? Out there collecting their nectars, their pollens, and all the things that they do. Interestingly, last year, I think it was maybe it was 2 years ago, whatever. I saw hummingbirds for the first time in a meadow of wildflowers feeding. I'd only ever seen them feeding from artificial feeders. I'd never seen them out getting into flowers before, and I was astounded. And then I was astounded that I had never seen that. And it was so peaceful, so beautiful, and there were so many of them out there. And the flowers were grown high. They were probably, 3-4 feet high, And it was beautiful. This big open field near a trail that we like to use. And so I have this feeling of kind of an urgency, right? At least perceived as an urgency, a busyness. I think that you have, a full life, of course. And then, as I said, we look over here and there is another hummingbird, but this one is seated. And this one is in this physical world. This one is in the emotional part of the cup. That's kind of the incline here. So I feel like although you remain busy, you have probably no time to just kind of quit whatever you're doing. Your schedule is packed, hopefully with things that you love to do. But I feel like emotionally there is this big shift towards acts of love, okay? A feeling of getting back to the basics, returning to kind of the origin of how you began with love. I think that you're remembering how to kind of enjoy the sweet things in life, the simple things. Letting go of some of the complications that come along with growing older, becoming a young adult, an adult, middle age. It's wired into us for some reason that the more we have to do, the busier we stay with, tasks, producing, and, never having a moment's rest. That's kind of a measurement of success, right? But then, you get to a point somewhere in your life, hopefully anyways, where you at least begin to understand that all of this has to be for something, not just going through the motions. Killing yourself, working, hunting, gathering, making a home. But every moment is kind of like you're just, rushing through to get to the next thing, start preparation for another thing to do, another lunch to pack, another, day scheduled with appointments and work and taxing people around, whatever it is, and you get to a point where life changes, the seasons of life change, your responsibilities shift. We tend to try to pick up more responsibilities, even if it isn't necessarily the best thing for our rest and relaxation time. But then you find yourself realizing, I don't know, I think about when you're doing things, especially in this era, we all have phones, we all have cameras with us, and we take all this time to plan things, get all of the stuff together for, a nice event or a little party with the family, a nice meal. And we spend our days, cooking and getting ready for it, making everything is just so. And then as it's happening, we're organizing, people herding the cats around and taking pictures, making sure we get memories, but so often we're just not that present. I'm embarrassed to say that there are things that have happened in even the last few years with my daughter being born. I don't remember. I mean, I remember, I know this thing happened. I know that we, had a little party or whatever, went on a little trip but I almost feel like I barely remember all of the things because I was so busy worried about, hot dogs and cupcakes and and plastic utensils or parking or, just the things that we do and making sure there are pictures of everybody. And sometimes there's not even pictures of me there. Because I'm taking the pictures. And it's like, I don't know, you get to a point where you're like this little busy bird. You have the capacity to do it all. Of course you do. But it's like something inside of you just kind of snaps. I'm not talking about being angry necessarily. That's not what I mean. But I mean, it's like something just breaks. And it's enough. Just want to go back to those days where, you could just pick up an orange off the counter, get a little bottle of water, go for a nice long walk, sit, take in the sun, maybe listen to some music. Not necessarily know when you need to be home, just once in a while, right? So I feel that there's just this spirit of being brutally soft with yourself right now. Reminding yourself, these are the things, these little things, the little nuances of life that make it so perfect. I mean, yeah, the world is a mess. And people are suffering. And it's hard. It's hard to sometimes find a reason to be happy. Sometimes we have to force ourselves to find a way. Right? Because in some way, it's almost more tragic when we kind of squander what we have. Our ability to even consider our happiness. I'm sure that there were times in history, the histories of humans, when they didn't even consider if they were happy or not. They were just worried about being alive. Jesus. This cat, I will tell you. Oh my goodness. Well, for those of you who have said you love seeing him on the video, you got to see him and he went ahead and hit the whole thing with his tail twice, not once, twice. So we have this little flower here, and I feel like this is just a time of blooming. What do you think, Pudgy? Yeah, I agree. I think a time of blooming, of just letting go of a lot of that stuff, right? All of the just tedium and just stay on my lap. The tedium, the finding more and more things to do, and just letting yourself really kind of be a little more minimal. Giving yourself some time, some empty time. And when you are doing special things, they feel more special, don't they? Because they're not, your days aren't just packed. Packed and packed and packed. You have a little bit more room to breathe. I was listening to a thing today. They were talking about, just mindfulness practices, but specifically meditating every day for 10 minutes in the morning or whenever is good for your schedule, right? And just doing the kind of meditation where you just practice letting your thoughts pop up, but not really engaging with them. Letting them come and then letting them drift away, right? Like a little cloud, just let it drift away. And doing this every day for, some weeks, maybe a couple months. And then you get into a place in your mind at times. I mean, it's not always. These things aren't perfect. But at times where you are more in control of how you're experiencing life, how present you are. When things become very emotional or overwhelming, there's a sense of being able to let those transient feelings, reactions, emotions pass through your life. And in doing that, we don't spend as much time with the stress, with the feeling, I'm always late. Always late. I just feel, that's my big thing. I'm always late. And I'm not a late person. I'm always early. I'm very early to things, but I always have that feeling that I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late to work. I'm going to be late to school. I'm going to be late to my appointment. Even on days when I am just home doing chores, I still feel that way. And so these kinds of mindfulness practices, they help us get into a place where we can really bloom. We can really experience things deeply. And when it's unimportant or if it's too much, it gives us the ability to let it pass more, more easily. But I think it's just a more, what is the word? Not concise. No, I don't know what the word, but it makes it easier. It makes it easier to not stay in that unnecessary stressful center, that anxiety center. Okay, and let's see, what else do we have? Oh, and here, yes, I was looking at this earlier, and I wanted to get to it probably before that part. But I see a little fireman or firewoman, fire person, holding a hose, and there's not really a fire there, but it looks like in this emotional zone. Okay, don't knock it over though, please. Come on. You need to come down. They don't want to look at your back, Pudgy. Come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. I am so sorry. This cat. Oh, he really, you know what? Tonight is the solstice. Last night was the solstice eve. But these cats are just wild. I keep talking to people on here about that in the comments, but they just really are so, they just are so all over me lately and want attention. I told my husband, oh my goodness, it's like when I was pregnant before. It really did. It shifted like that. As soon as I got pregnant, they wouldn't leave me alone. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. I don't think this is that. But, hopefully just the summer. So anyways, the Fireman. So when I see a fireman, I keep saying fireman, a fire person, okay, we're not gonna gender our first responders, but somebody who is dealing with managing, putting out those fires in your life and in the people around you's life, and being kind of in that management role, if it is at work, if it is in your personal life, in your friends group, family, wherever it is, probably overlaps into a few of those places, right? But I feel like this is something that you're really good at, but I also feel like you are kind of like, what do they say? Gone fishing, right? You're taking a bit of a break, I hope. Give yourself some time. I think, in this moving towards this kind of real self-love, stripping things down back to these basic, original happinesses, dalliances, enjoyments. I mean, think about the things that you loved when you were, 16, 17 years old. How easy it was to just be enamored with something, to be fulfilled, satiated by something. And I kind of feel like that's where you're turning back to. Now, I feel that you are done putting out fires for a while. I feel like you're this little hummingbird that's taking a nice little rest. Still busy, still doing your thing, but emotionally, spiritually, you're giving yourself a bit of a rest. That being said, I think it is a really good time for you to do something nice for somebody you don't know. Maybe you don't know them well. Just a random act of kindness. Okay, I think that these kinds of practices are so healing and energizing for us. I'm not talking about going and filming it or posting about it on, social media or anything like that, but literally just going and doing something nice for somebody that has not asked for it. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a monetary thing. It could be anything. It could be opening a door, But I think that, that's a good practice. A good meditation exercise in this developing deeper love within humanity, within our communities, within ourselves. I'll tell you what, it is always so much sweeter to give than to receive. It really is. You'll never change my mind on that one. Is it nice to be thought of? Yes. Is it nice to get something thoughtful? Yes. But it's always so nice to be the one making somebody else feel special, to be heard, seen, remembered, cared for. Okay, we have it looks like a little chick right here. And so we have, again, that youthful spirit, that wonderment, that happiness. What is like happier than a bunch of little chicks? Although, once they do get a little bit older, they look kind of mean, don't they? They got this kind of mean eyes. They're still really cute, but they do kind of have a little bit of that raptor kind of face. I like going to the tractor, what is it called? It's like Tractor Supply store or whatever. In the spring, they have a whole bunch of little baby chicks to look at. I love doing that. They're so cute. Okay, so let's see. You know, it's interesting. I get this impression. I think of like maybe your mother, your grandmother. And it seems like it's so silly. It seems like you have like a grandmother who you really connected with, or you would watch them while maybe they were babysitting you, you were spending time with them, maybe you lived with them. It seems like maybe they're passed, or there's been some kind of cognitive decline possibly. But I think of, I don't know, it's like like an Afghan, like a knitted blanket. And it almost seems like maybe you have this of your grandmother's, or you want it for in the future. And this is like, so this is probably really specific to like one or two people, but it just, I feel like when you think about it or you come in contact with it, your grandmother or grandmother figure, it's like letting you know that she loves you and she's there with you. And it just seems like such a, I don't know, maybe she crocheted it or knitted it, and it was like a labor of love type of thing. But I don't know. Yeah, that came to mind. So that's that's a super random thing. The chick, though, I think just that, that energy, that once in a great while we get into these little cycles where we just kind of go back to the beginning a bit. It's like a bunch of the complications of being an adult just kind of fade away a little. And we are so lucky to be relieved of some of that stuff. Just to be a little free-spirited. Kind of reminds me a bit of that movie. What was it called? Now it's in poor taste, kind of, because it has that one actor that was a terrible person. But American, what was it called? American... Now I just keep thinking American Pie, but that is not the right movie. I can't think of it, but anyways, the guy, he's like middle-aged, and he quits his job and he goes and works at like a fast food store, and he starts lifting weights and stuff. And it's like, supposed to be kind of this midlife crisis or whatever, but I feel like, we kind of sometimes just go through these realizations that like all of this stuff that we've done and built up, that's like we've worked so hard to do, to achieve, and sometimes it's really the thing that is destroying our lives, because we lose focus on what's so important to us. And when we have these moments of clarity, it's so important to take advantage of them where we can. Maybe don't totally alter all of your life. Make a plan, but enjoy that time where you're just, that weight is off your shoulders just for a moment, right? All right. I want to thank you so, so much for spending this time with me. I hope you all have a wonderful solstice and a most wonderful season ahead. If that is summer, if that is winter, wherever you are, I hope you are doing well. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. We are a community here. We really are. And we are growing this channel one person at a time. If you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell when you subscribe, and it will let you know when the next videos are coming out. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I read every single one of them. It might take me a minute to get back to you, comment back, but I try to, definitely get back to each and every one of them. Other than that, thank you. Thank you so much for spending this time. And now I'm going to hurry up and go look at the stars for a minute, and then I'm going to get myself into bed. Go to sleep. Start again tomorrow. Bye.